Warning, playing FPL is highly addictive. It may cause stress, a loss of free time, a resentment towards friends or colleagues, and a dislike to football in general. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. In the second instalment of this 3-part mini-series, we're going to be looking at Championship winners Norwich City, looking at some key stats from their promotion campaign, and getting you guys up to speed on what to expect from them for FPL Game Week 1. And if you haven't already, be sure to drop a like on the video and get subscribed to FPL TV for lots more pre-season content. Manager Daniel Farke deployed a 4-2-3-1 formation with Norwich last season, wrapping up the Championship title with 94 points. The very first thing to note about this team is that they scored a whopping 93 goals last season, which is the highest amount of goals scored by a Championship side since Bournemouth got 98 5 seasons ago. Defensively, however, they were a bit more suspect, conceding 57 goals in total, and as we check out Tim Krul's stats, we can see they only managed 13 clean sheets, which is 8 less than Sheffield United, who finished below them. Tim Krul did play all 46 games for Norwich, but a clean sheet percentage of just 28 doesn't look too promising. The Canaries have also just signed Ralph Farman of Schalke on loan, which adds a bit more uncertainty on Tim Krul's starting place, and for this reason I'm not interested at 4.5 million. What's interesting though is that despite conceding goals in 33 of the 46 they played, they only went on to lose 6 games, which again was the division's best. From this, we can deduce that their philosophy is definitely to attack first and defend later. As we move on to their defence, it's an extremely talented but also very young back four, and that perhaps explains a bit of complacency when it came to keeping clean sheets. Ben Godfrey at centre-back is just 21, and the two full-backs Lewis and Aarons are 21 and 19 respectively. And having done some research, it's these two young full-backs that have definitely caught my attention. Impressively, both of them ended the season in the PFA Championship Team of the Year, and are now thought to be some of the most promising young fullbacks in the country. Both possess bags of pace and enjoy getting forward, and this can be seen in their stats where Max Aarons particularly stood out. The talented 19-year-old only made his debut last September, but ended the season with 6 assists and 2 goals. So in the attacking front, he did outperform Jamal Lewis, who managed 4 assists. Ben Godfrey and the out-of-favour centre-back Tim Klose also produced some impressive attacking numbers, both grabbing 4 goals apiece. But I still find it a hard sell to purchase a Norwich centre-back at 4.5 million, especially if clean sheets are pretty scarce given their attacking nature. At least with Aarons and Lewis, they have the opportunity to surge forward more often, and this can be seen in their chances created, with Aarons again impressing on 31. Another important thing to note about Max Aarons is that he has been under some transfer speculation from both Crystal Palace and even Tottenham Hotspur in this window. So, priced at just 4.5 million, if he is to replace Wan-Bissaka or Kieran Trippier at right back at those clubs, what an exciting bargain he could turn out to be in FPL this season. In part 1 of this mini-series, when I looked at the midfield of Sheffield United, there was a bit of creativity there in terms of assists, but a definite lack of goals in midfield. And this is where things are very different for Norwich, because in their midfield there's goals in abundance, and potentially some budget FPL gems. Between these 5 players alone, they contributed 38 goals and 43 assists in their title-winning season, which is by far more attacking output than the midfields of Sheffield United and Aston Villa. Arguably, the most impressive of all was young Argentinian Emiliano Buendia. The winger bagged 8 goals and 12 assists, giving him the best goal involvement from midfield. It's his 91 chances created that really stands out too, which was the 3rd highest in the league overall. To be honest, 6 million does seem a little bit pricey, but he's definitely one to watch. Alternatively, for a £0.5 million saving, Onel Hernandez and Marco Stiepermann at 5.5 million could provide some good value though. They both too posted some very impressive numbers, with 18 and 17 goal involvements respectively. So in a team that scored 93 goals this season, one of these two could end up being a bargain. Surprisingly to me, it's Mario Vrancic who's been given the highest price tag of the lot at 6.5 million. A very expensive ask for a promoted midfielder, especially when considering that he only played half the minutes of his teammates last year and made 22 appearances from the bench. However, I guess under those circumstances and with significantly reduced minutes, you could say it's impressive that he ended up as the club's 2nd highest scorer with 10 goals. And FPL have clearly looked at how effective he was when given the chance, and therefore see him as having some good potential this year. but for me it still seems like a crazy overpricing in my opinion. Speaking of players valued at 6.5 million, that leads us on now to Norwich City centre forward and star man Teemu Pukki. Not much needs to be said about the Finland striker, who produced a superb season to fire the Canaries into the Premier League. Because of last season's heroics, he already boasts a 7% ownership in FPL, which is fairly popular for a newly promoted striker. But let's take a look at his impressive stats for good measure anyway. It was a prolific season for Pukki, who finished as the league's top scorer on 29 goals, and this was without the use of penalties, as he missed the only one that he took last season. He wasn't just finishing chances either, he was creating them, ending the season with an impressive 54 chances created and bagging 10 assists as well. With 39 goal involvements last year, there's no wonder he's proving a popular budget pick in this season's FPL. And if it wasn't for Norwich's very difficult start fixture-wise, I think he'd be in a lot more teams. At 6.5 million, the likes of Diogo Jota at Wolves or Joshua King at Bournemouth do feel a little bit safer. But given Norwich's style, where their instinct is to first attack, perhaps their difficult opening fixtures won't matter too much, as they'll throw everything at any opponent they face. So that wraps up my bite-sized analysis on Norwich City and their prospects for the upcoming FPL season. In summary, Teemu Pukki is obviously one for the watch list, whilst Emiliano Buendia at 6 million also looks like an exciting prospect this season. Onel Hernandez and Stiepermann look to be the value picks from midfield, whilst the two young fullbacks Lewis and Aarons are certainly worth keeping tabs on, especially if Max Aarons does get that move to Palace or Spurs. Even if you are going to avoid the promoted teams from Game Week 1, hopefully at the very least this video has given you a clearer idea of what to expect from Norwich in the upcoming season. If you enjoyed the video, please support the channel by dropping a like and getting subscribed to FPL TV. I'll be concluding this mini-series in part 3 very soon by looking at Aston Villa's promotion campaign. So until then, FPL responsibly and I'll catch you all very soon.